I am super excited to have you join me today for my 45th birthday celebration. Yay! Now, here's the cool thing. I've been with Lifepro since, I got to think about this, 2019, if I remember right, 2019. I had a total hysterectomy in 2018. Lifepro saved my life in that I had tried so many different types of therapies, different types of remedies in order to eliminate pain from my lower abdomen, my pelvis, and back pain, hip pain that was wrapping around, and come to realize that it was scar tissue that could not be accessible by any other forms or means other than the vibration platforms. This right here, my friends, is like the third, maybe the fourth, maybe the third. I'm thinking it's the third vibration platform ever launched by Lifepro. They are the best. Lifepro is the best at what they do in innovation, and so that you can provide great healthcare options at home with the convenience of your living space, at the affordability of your pocketbook without having to schedule appointments and filing those insurance claims. So, anyways, today is all about aging younger. I am 45 years young, and yesterday was my official birthday. And so every year I like to come back around and share with our audience and share with all of you what continues to make me feel younger and younger and younger because I get to work with Lifepro. And I feel livelier now, healthier now, more confident than ever because of Lifepro than I have, I think, ever in my life, ever. And that's huge, my friends, because adversity always provides opportunities if you choose to look into adversity. And each opportunity that has presented itself, I have learned something new. To allow me to be bigger, better, bolder, but being able to share my expertise with those of you who might be sitting at home watching and wondering what can work for me, or I've got this ailing ache or pain that just won't go away and the doctors aren't giving me any hope. I am living proof that there are other options, there are other opportunities, and there are others of us that believe in something bigger than ourselves that we can help. So thank you all today for joining me for celebrating my 45th birthday and allowing me to share with you some of my anti-aging secrets because of representing Lifepro. So here's what I want you to think about. One of the interesting things that come to figure out just this last week, I have one of every single product that Lifepro has ever manufactured and released, being that I get to share the expertise and share how each one of our different gadgets, devices, pieces of equipment works. There are so many ways that you can use different things, and to be able to teach all of you the many different ways that you can hack into the system, or you can use the same product for so many other unintended ways of using it for a greater cause. I get to play with everything for a little while before we go out and share it with all of you. So, in going through the list of products that Lifepro has come out with that they have since discontinued, this will blow your mind. There are over 90 products in the life that I've been with the company. And like I said, I joined the company in 2019. And there are so many products, 90 products that we had to sort through in order to figure out how far we've come through these years of greatness and how we've been able to help so many. And then I had to narrow it down to some of the products that I have out here in front of you, which are some of my absolute favorite products that have changed my life, but not only changed my life, but some of the greatest feedback that we've had from all of you who are watching as to how it has changed your life. And so if you should happen to have any of these products at home, or you're curious about some of these products at home, as to how they can help you, I have all of them out here in the open that I can share with you. And it doesn't mean that these are the absolute best. It just means these are my favorites. And when it comes to products that we already have that are out there that you might not see in the background, if you have questions about what or how you might be able to use those, if I have quick access to those, and if we have time at the end, then I'll be happy to go through and share some of that with you. But we are streaming live right now on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. So if you have questions, or if you want to give me some feedback, what I want to share with you that makes me feel like I'm aging backwards or aging younger at the age of 45, there's a lot that goes into how our bodies continue to develop and thrive against resistance. And so when we're younger and we're hitting our puberty states, those are teenage years, our young 20s, that is when we're wanting to pack on meat muscle mass and eliminate shred fat, right? And that's when we're out trying to do different things. We're trying to feel who we're going to be, and we're trying to find ourselves. Some of us might be breaking rules just to see what you can get away with, and seeing how far you can stretch yourself. So what I want you to think about, I'm going to go through some different times of generations or different decades of life. In your teens and early 20s, strength and mobility are really important, because as we age, or as we start to age, those hormones start to rolling around, the chemical messengers of our body. It is super, super important that as we are growing and as we are developing, to making sure that we are maintaining what's called pliability. And pliability is the ability of our connective tissue system to being able to remold itself, realign itself, and become more adaptable to whatever stress that we're placing upon it, whether it be physical stress or whether it become emotional stress. Fascia is the extracellular matrix network that holds our body together, and 80% of that matrix is made of water. So make sure you're drinking water, because that's what keeps our body and our brain functioning. Our brain is even more water than our fascial connective tissue system. Our body has the ability to fix itself, to repair itself, so that as we continue to place strain upon ourselves, our body has the ability to regenerate itself, repair itself, and keep ourselves going. But if we're providing it the right environment and the right resources, so proper nutrition, proper supplementation, water, activity or movement. Movement is medicine, motion is lotion, and constant stimulation. And guess what? Vibration is the number one stimulus that pampers and makes our connective tissue happy. And so if our connective tissue is happy, then we are happy, because it releases those happy hormones, and it lowers and releases the inflammatory hormones. So we have got to have adaptability, pliability, resistance training. So for that, I wanted to share with you today our adjustable weights. And this one today, this is our PowerFlow Plus, and it is adapted. You can adjust it in 5-pound increments. If you don't already have resistance training at home in the form of weights, this one is great in that you can adjust it. So right now we're just lifting 5 pounds, right? If there's only one thing that you can do with your time, you only have time for one type of exercise, resistance training all day, every day, because just doing a little bit of resistance training every day will actually stimulate the release of growth hormone and testosterone. And it also increases our happy hormones, and it actually suppresses and calms down our stress hormone cycle, as long as we don't do too much. So let's remember, less sometimes can be better, and doing more or doing heavier doesn't always mean it's going to be better on our joints, especially from an impact standpoint. But any form of resistance training, whether it's through lifting weights or whether it is using resistance bands, we give you resistance mini bands in most all of our products. If you buy a vibration platform, you're always going to get the resistance bands. You can use gravity for resistance. I'll show you how you do that here in a little bit. But more importantly, if you're wanting to work on resistance training, the vibration platforms, believe it or not, when we are stimulating up to 90% of our muscle fibers to shorten and lengthen, anywhere from 10 to 50 times per second, without our brain saying it has to happen. When we can do that with body movement, so we can activate with squats at the same time that we're vibrating, that's resistance training. So you don't have to add weight to your frame. Your body is enough in a gravitational state of resistance. And then when we add the vibration platform on top of it, it just elevates that stimulus and that intensity to a different level, so that our body not only is breaking itself apart of sticky, gluey adhesions to what makes our muscles almost feel like bubble wrap, or it eliminates joint pain. So you can get it all in one. Now, we have to have resistance training, decade 2. So that would be my 20s to my 30s. That's when we are starting to find our groove as to how we fit into society. We're starting to work, we're starting to have children, maybe we're settling down with a partner. There's all different things that come to mind, but stress tends to go up. So we have to continue to keep our mind clear through parasympathetic nervous system activation. So if you can hack into your parasympathetic nervous system and calm things down, a lot of individuals in their between their 20s and 30s will develop autoimmune disease because the body can't keep up with the stress that it's being placed into. And so, what do we do here at Lifepro? We are all about biohacking, how to hack into your system to create the best version of you possible, the best environment possible. And after you're in your late 20s, is when testosterone levels start to drop, especially in women. When it comes to men, you're at your heightened start of or the heightened point of our testosterone human growth hormone cycles in our late 20s, early 30s. So if we can stimulate to keep that fountain of youth growing, is what I like to call it, isn't that a great way to do that? We can do that through the use of red light therapy, infrared light therapy, vibration, and meditation, to be honest with you. So as you see the sauna in the background, I bought my first sauna when I was 35. 35 was when I bought my first sauna. My sauna is almost identical to this one in that it's in my house and it's 3 people wide instead of 1 person wide. But the sauna, you're never too young or too old to be in the sauna, so long as the heat matches what your body is able to tolerate. I've got the Lifepro sauna set up today at 145 degrees. It has been on for about a half an hour and it was up to temperature in about 7 minutes. So I'll take you over there and show you that here in just a few moments. But I still want to go through some of the other things. So 20s and 30s, it's all about tapping into your greatest level of potential by monitoring your stress or balancing your stress, because those are the baby making years. And if you, whether you're male or female and you're trying to have children, if you're having infertility issues, that is an indication that your body is overstressed. And so if you are overstressed and you're not able to moderate that by hacking into the system and providing an opportunity for your body to heal itself, it cannot reproduce if that's what you're looking for. Learned that the hard way through my own infertility journey. So I've been there and done that. And then into my late 30s, eventually had a total hysterectomy, which is when I started working with Lifepro. Now, as we go from 30s to 40s on up, we also have to be working on balance. Balance, balance, balance is super important. And so balance through the Horizon Balance Trainer. This is one of my favorite gadgets to use. I've been using something very similar to this for about 25 years. I have loved replacing that old product with this product. And we use this not only for working our lower abdominal pelvic floor core, but we also use it for working on strengthening and for balancing and for mobilization. So you can actually perform different yoga poses or doing Pilates on this. So I'll show you some exercises with that here in just a little while as well. We've got the red light therapy behind me here. We've got the red light therapy torches. There's a lot of different things that we have that we can use in order to provide the optimal environment for our body to heal itself. When it comes to how our brain starts to work, our brain functioning, right? When we get older, our brain starts to slow down a bit. Our stress hormones tend to surge. Joint pain kicks in. We're at the point in our life, I think, when we are quote unquote middle aged, between those 40 and 50 years where I'm at now. We're approaching halfway through our life. For those that are lucky enough to live until they're 90, we're at the halfway road. And so that sweet spot where you can find optimal body with optimal brain, I feel like that's where I'm at right now. Right now is where I'm at in the optimal phase of my entire life. Brain, mind strong, body still in fabulous shape. I'm ultra confident in my body. It's not the hot body that many of you would have wished for at the age of 20, but I embrace where I'm at with what I got. And those around me love me for me, and so do all of you within your own. So it's all about balancing out how the mind is able to recover through sleep and through rest. And so the Oculex eye massager is one of my favorite devices for that. And I'll show you how that works here in just a second. It does have a Bluetooth feature, so you can set up relaxing music, calming music, or white noise in order to help calm the mind down, calm those stressors down, create some blank space. And if you have headaches frequently, you've got neck tension, you can just sit back in a lounger and use your Oculex. You can use the Oculex inside of the sauna if you want to try that. It can get a little toasty in there. So if you decide that you don't want to do that, you can just sit in like the lounger that I've got over there in the background. You can lay in your bed, but you can use the Oculex to help reduce the amount of tension in your face and in your mind, so that you can continue to dream bigger and bigger as your life continues forward. I've also got a hand massager. This is the Legra. I do a lot of work with my hands. Those of you who don't know, I do a lot of massage. And so to being able to recharge and keep these hands free flowing using a hand massager, this is such an awesome device. If you love having your hands rubbed, this is like an at-home hand massage on a day-to-day basis, and it's very thorough in how it works. Several different massage modes, several different levels of intensity, including heat and vibration. And it's called the Legra hand massager. It's on our website right now for $89.99. So remember, if you are wanting some of these products and you're wanting the extra Amber discount, those codes never expire. So if you type in Amber 10, AMBER 10, into the discount or coupon code at your order summary only on the Lifepro website, it'll knock off an extra discount there at the end, a little extra bonus for me to you, saying thank you for trusting us with your health and your wellness. So does not apply to Amazon, so don't try it. But if you have family members, loved ones, coworkers, colleagues, neighbors, anybody, teammates, share that code. It never expires, and there's no max. It's how many times you can use it. All right, moving on. So let me tell you here the different products I'm going to share with you. In the comment section, I would like to know which products you specifically might have more questions about or want to know more about as to how I can share with you. And then I'll be happy to dial in on some of those towards the end. But if there's a product that you see me demonstrating for you, make sure and give me some hearts or some likes or some balloons or something fun, so that I know that maybe that's a product that we need to go back and reflect on towards the end if you should still have questions. I am seeing some amazing comments here about how Joel and Lifepro has changed lives, and the many different home therapies that we're able to provide for you. So thank you all so much, because your feedback helps us continue to drive the engine forward. I know that Joel is, from my understanding, out of town right now, working on innovation of more and more products coming your way, products we have never had before. And the one thing that makes Lifepro so special and makes my life so amazing is that I get to experience the best of the best, the world-class products that we are always far ahead of the spectrum as to the timeline as to when things come out. So once you have experienced some of our products, somehow or another, years behind, some of those other products tend to trickle down into the stores at a lesser quality, lack of warranty, at a higher price, or sometimes an equal or lesser price. But again, the quality and the service and the innovation that goes into all Lifepro products is what makes our company so special. And the intention, it's not about making the dollars. It's the intention behind wanting to change lives forever. If it were about the intention of money, there would not be a lifetime warranty behind all of our products. And so if you should have trouble with any of your products, remember, limited lifetime warranty on just about everything that we have that's out there. If you have trouble, feel free to contact and email support. It is support@lifeprofitness.com. If I remember right, yes, support@lifeprofitness.com. So if you should have any trouble, feel free to contact us. If you have trouble, reach out to us on Messenger. I'm also on the backstage side of Messenger for Lifepro, so I see the comments coming in. If you want me to specifically reach out to you, feel free to tag me in a Lifepro post. So go into Lifepro on the VIP group on Facebook or on the Facebook page and say, hey, Amber, I'm wondering how I can learn more about this product, or which product do I need because these are the ones I'm considering. Make sure and tag me, because it pings me through my personal page, and then I know to go in and find you and answer that question. Some of you have texted me directly. Some of you have emailed me directly. So if you have questions and you can't get to the bottom end with the customer service behind Lifepro, I do have direct contact with Joel on a regular basis. I do not give out his information, so don't ask. But if you want to reach me directly and you can't get a hold of anybody else, you can also send me a message through my business website, which is kksmagik.com. Okay, go to that website and then click contact us, submit your inquiry, and then my team will work with you in figuring out a solution with Joel. So super excited to have you all. So I'm seeing a message here that massage therapists, that you've got 2 of your clients who are trying the waiver and are loving it. And I can't tell you how many different messages I've read for so many years. So many people contact me with their success stories. And those are the days that make me cry out of happiness that we're able to help so many lives. Because I would have paid a lot of money for an Amber or a Lifepro 15 years ago to save my life when I was learning to walk again from 8 spinal injuries and suffering of fibromyalgia. Today, I'm pain free, feeling fabulous, and it's because of all of these wonderful biohacking devices and technologies that Lifepro provides. So we'll move on with it. Uh, I'm lucky that my birthday is part of the National Stress Awareness Month because I'm also doing a lot of life coaching. And so we'll tap into how some of these things help with stress relief. The vibration platform, I've got 4 of them out here today that we're going to share with you. The one right here in front of you that has the arm rails, it is called the Rhythm. A lot of you don't see me featuring that vibration platform very often. It is the loudest of all of our platforms, and it is a one motor unit. But what makes it so fantastic is for those of you who are balance challenged, it has the guardian rails here on the side, so you have something to hold on to. It's not as intensified because of the one motor versus the Rumblex or the others, the Turbo or the Hovert that have 2 motors. This one just has one, but the one motor that it has packs a punch. And so right now you can get the Rhythm on our website for $3.99. This was the 3rd platform that we came out with. I received the Turbo was my very first. The Turbo was my very first platform. And then from there, this was my 2nd one that I received, the 3rd one out. And then the next one after that was the Rumble X4D, which I'm going to share with you. The Rumble X series are my favorites. They're the ones that really drive me to feeling fantastic. But either way, I'm going to show you how this one works. And so that you can see, I'm not afraid of allowing the jiggle in my body to show. So I'm going to stand it here on the side so that you can see how my body moves in these really thin tights. I wore my thin tights today. You can go barefoot if you choose to. I wear my sparkle shoes today to celebrate and have some vibrant energy. But you can actually go barefoot on any one of our platforms. In fact, most of the time I'm on these, I do go barefoot. You're gonna, on the Rhythm, we have 3 different programs to choose from, very similar to our P1, P2, P3 programs and our manual mode program. But again, this one is our loudest. Because I've got the microphone in my ears, you're not gonna be able to hear how loud it is at moments, but I'm gonna back this up just a little bit. So we're gonna go for a very slow ride back so that you can see how everything works. So on here, I'm going to go to a program selection. I am always one of those, if you've seen my videos, you know that I love P2 programming. So P2 is my go-to for just about every program that Lifepro makes. All right, there we go. Okay, so we can see, and now we're working. And things are jiggling heavy. So you can see from a distance how you can stand up into here, how you can squat and hold on. If you have trouble with squatting, you can squat and hold in. Wow, I am feeling this heavy. So I have a confession to make. I've not been on my vibration platform this week at all because I've been traveling a lot. And so you're not gonna, sorry, there we go. Okay, I have not been on my vibration platform because I've been playing catch up. But lots and lots of jiggle, jiggle, jiggle. I tell people all the time, if you feel like I like to call it flubber instead of fat. If you feel like your fat is going everywhere, then that's a good thing because you want to make sure that you're able to mobilize it before you can burn it up and metabolize it. So if you're not getting the junk in the trunk to bounce around everywhere, you're not able to mobilize it the same. So embrace everything going crazy because it does work. During the pandemic, you can go back on my Facebook page, whether it's through Lifepro or through Kivik Kinetic Solutions, and you can see how my body shrunk 40 pounds over the period of 6 months just standing on a vibration platform and teaching the world how to use them for whatever aches and elements that they might have, or maybe just to work on fitness. So we can stand on it front to front, we can stand on it sideways, and we can do little split squats, which actually tickle the arch of your foot and feel more here in the front of your thigh when you're in this squat formation. So just make sure, ooh, that's a real big tickle on the bottom of the foot. As my assistant likes to say, it's almost like fairy kisses all over your feet. Kind of a nice little tickle. So if you have plantar fasciitis or you have pain in your feet, pain in your heels, this is a really good exercise to do. Just getting into a little bit of a split stance, dropping your knees as much as you can tolerate it. Really good for those of you who have had a total knee replacement and you've got a lot of scar tissue developed up behind the knee and in front of the knee. Just a little bit of a partial squat goes a long way. Now, that being said, if you are somebody who you're just wanting to wind down at the end of a day, okay? This does have little pins in the top that you can clip resistance bands into. I don't like to use the resistance bands, but what you can do is we can just sit on the floor and just allow the legs to drape over the top of the platform. And you'll feel this through the knee joint. You'll feel it in your thighs. I don't feel it so much in my upper body on this one, but we do have others that I can feel it much differently because of the different motors. So the more motors you have, the more results you're going to experience because of the plane of movement of vibration stimulation. So you can rotate the legs in to out in order to access more of the muscles in the extremity. Okay, so that is a very short to the point version of how to use the rhythm in order to de-stress or break up connective tissue adhesions in the body. Now, I'm seeing a question here. Can you demonstrate the new PEMF mat? I actually don't have it yet because it's not here yet. So once they are able to receive the first sampling of that, that's what Joel's working on right now. They send that to me immediately, and then I get to start playing around with it so that when we share it with you the first time that it's available, or if you have questions that I can answer your questions. But at this point right now, I don't have any ability or any information on what to share on the PMF mat, knowing that he is taking those as a pre-order. That is a very hot item that is available very soon. And I will tell you, I have used other PMF mats. Thousands of dollars is what those cost from other companies that I've tried. There was one that I tried not too long ago. It was going to cost $7,000 just to have one in the convenience of my home. And of course, I don't have $7,000 to spend on a leisure mat, but I will tell you that it'll be worth what Joel does because, like I said, he's always on top of the science. He's always looking at trying to find something cost effective that works for everybody and providing optimal results with the greatest cost effectiveness possible. So when it comes to my next favorite vibration platform, this was the third vibration platform I ever had. And this is the Rumble X. And if you ever hear me talking about my favorites, the Rumble X is one of my favorites on all levels. It doesn't matter which one. This specific Rumble X is the Rumble X 4D, so it has a little curve on the edge. If you have had a total knee replacement or a total hip replacement or a fused foot ankle, you do not want to order the curved one because it's going to be too much on you. You're going to want to order the Plus, the Plus, which is currently out of stock, or the Pro, which is the one behind me. The Pro has a slight curve, but not enough of a curve that it should cause you any problems should you have total knee or total hip or fused ankles. But the flat is always best if you should happen to have one of those challenges. Now, I will tell you though, if you're wanting the Rumble X Plus, which is completely flat, we do have that available off of Amazon. We just are sold out on our regular website right now. Now, the Rumble X 4D is the original. This is the very first one that made. Rumble X 4D just simply means it's the Rumble X series. All of our Rumble X series platforms have 3 motors for 4 planes of dimensional motion. So that means you're going to get an oscillation, you're going to get a pulsation, you're going to get a lateral, you're going to get a spiral, okay? And then you're going to get what would be called 4 dimensions. So when all 3 motors are running at the same time, it is like taking over your connective tissue in all different angles that it comes, which is really important because our connective tissue system is a very elaborate matrix of webs of all different angles and attaches anything contractile. So muscles, tendons, ligaments, it attaches to a bone, and the viscera, the fat, everything in between our skin that attaches to that is where it accesses. And there are lots of electrical channels. And so it's great to use for that. So I'm seeing a post coming in here that your hips seem to be aggravated after using the Rumble X4D using manual level 1 at speed level 4. How do I get past the plateau to solve my hip pain? Let me show you a little trick. I got to grab an extra prop for this, so keep watching. If you are on your Rumble X4D and if you start to develop other hip issues, we have to somehow neutralize the level of your platform by building up the center to making it as equal as possible to the rest of your platform. And so what does that mean? On a lot of the, some of the episodes I've showed you in the past, if you take a mat and you, this is a non-slip mat that I have cut from a full length mat, okay? If you lay it in the center, it decreases the angle, okay? And if you stay closer to the center, that's one option. Now, the other option, which can be a little more on the trickier side, is if you're wanting to stay on the edges. One of my videos, I show you how to take a towel or like a hand towel, and how you can put that in the center and you can load on it equally. So your foot is level. If you are on the 4D, on the one I'm showing you here, that has a little bit of a curve, and you're having hip pain, it's because your feet are not flat. So you're gonna have to find a way at home, whether it's taking a mat and cutting it down to size so that you can wedge that underneath of the arch of your foot to provide level grounding. But what happens is when our feet drop inward, okay, the hips pop outward. If my feet are flat, then the hips are aligned much different. If I elevate and push my hips to the outside, then that's going to place more pressure on the inside of my hips. So how you stand flat on a surface, if it's curved, then you're going to have more strain on the hips and on the knees. So if you're struggling with feeling some of those, you're going to have to find a way to smoothing out your platform by making it more leveled, specifically at the point of contact of the feet. The other thing that you can try, if you have not had a knee replacement, and if you wanted to try in balancing on your knees instead of on your hips, you can still, or instead of on your feet, you can actually load on your knees and experience the vibration in your hips. So I'll show you how to do that right quick. I personally do not like manual mode because I don't like to have to think to increase it. So I would start on a P1 level or doing a P1 preset program, because you're getting the convenience of the different motors ever changing without having to think about it. So right now, you're going to hear my voice vibrate. Right now, I'm on a pulsation mode where my body is not moving. I'm just receiving the energy, and it's coming in through my knees. And again, if it's too much for you through your knees, then you can actually soften how much energy goes into the knees by putting like a pull noodle or an extra mat underneath of your knees so that you're not taking too much. And so right now, the further that I go out with my knees, the more I'm going to feel it here in my torso. The closer my knees are to the center, the less energy I'm going to get in my hips. So the wider your feet are, the more energy you feel. So if you're having trouble with pain in your hips and you're going from your feet, then bring your feet closer together where it's more neutral and flat, because the wider you go out on a platform that has a curve to it, the more access your hips are going to have. The other thing is making sure that your knees are relaxed, because if your knees are locked, your hips and your back are going to receive all the energy first, instead of when your knees are relaxed and soft, the energy will travel through the knees and into your pelvis instead of into your hip sockets on the outside. So if the knees are locked, the energy is going to travel up the outside instead of being more driven through towards to your deep core. So it does make a difference if your knees are locked, if they're soft, where your feet are, and whether your platform is curved. So hopefully that helps with that question. Okay. Now, if you are having trouble because the energy is too high, then instead of using the platform from a standing position, I would get yourself a stool and go from a seated position instead. A lot of times what we do, I've got these plyometric boxes similar to this one that's covered. And a lot of individuals who have trouble with having too much energy in their knees, but we're still trying to get the energy up into their body, especially to their legs, we'll actually put them on a box. If you stay hang tight for me, I'm going to show you what that would look like. A lot of some of my old videos, you'll find me using a stool, like a bar stool that's really tall, and that works out really, really well. You have to forgive me because I'm pushing a box that weighs 75 pounds on turf, and it doesn't want to go very far. So I'll do myself a little workout in order to roll it to the destination, because what's nice about these boxes is you can flip them from side to side and they change height, they change how tall they are, but you don't want to try and pick one of these up because they weigh about 60, 75 pounds. So if I'm sitting on the box or sitting on a stool that's a little taller so that my knees can be relaxed and my hips are higher than my knees, my lower body is still receiving this energy, and I'm getting a little bit here in my pelvic floor, but I'm not getting any in my hips, okay? If you want to feel a little bit, then you can enjoy the vibration here, and then we can lean back so that we're stable, and then we can stand up. So you can actually change your positioning pretty regularly if you really want to. So you'll just have to play around with the activity and see what makes you feel great. When I say pain, if you feel sharp pain in your hips, that's what we do not want. If you feel an aching, throbbing, there's a very good chance that we're breaking up tissue that's keeping you from being able to move. And our hips are meant to move 365-degree ball and socket joint. So it's supposed to be a very mobile joint. And if we are not moving, that means that our low back has to work a lot more, or it means that our knees have to work a lot more. So sometimes, though, change creates a little discomfort. So if you're feeling an aching, throbbing sensation when you are on your vibration platform in your hips, I have fibromyalgia. And the first time I used my platform, especially the rhythm, the first time I got it, I don't think I walked normal for a couple of days afterwards because it was breaking up so much stuff in my system that my body had to learn how to use muscles they hadn't used in a while, because it's stimulating up to 90% of your muscles without your muscles actually having to think about it. So right now, this box is about the same level as a dining room chair. And so right now, my hips are just slightly higher than the level of my knees. And so this actually feels really good in my lower body, and I'm not getting too much energy into my hips. If I'm sitting a little taller, I'm going to get more energy up here than if I'm seated, and I'm getting the energy more down here in the lower legs. So angles of how you sit or stand make up a lot of difference as to the outcome you're going to get when using your vibration platform. If you are having soreness in your hips and you're needing to work that soreness out, that's always a good indication. If you have soreness, maybe that's your body's way of saying, hey, we like this, but we need more of it. What you can do is you can actually just sit on the vibration platform with your knees bent. You can have your hands here on your knees and just allow the energy to absorb into your hips, okay? Now, because you're not loaded, because you're in a seated position, it's more of a massage to your booty and your hips. It's not impact. So you're not receiving energy into the joint. You're actually receiving energy into the connective tissue and into the muscles that are usually glued together with a sticky honey instead of flush water that's hydrating that space. So a lot of different ways that you can do your programming. I get in here on the platforms not with the intention of losing weight or getting a hardcore workout, although you can get the hardest workouts possible on a vibration platform. I do it just to allow my body to break free of anything holding it down and to separate and to rehydrate and to flush out toxins and the lymphatic system. So it's more of a detox for me. The older we get, the more we need that, as opposed to needing the hardcore workouts. In fact, doing too much of the hardcore workouts will make you age very fast. So you have to be careful doing too hard of workouts before your body is able to catch up with you. If you start to experience itching, like I'm itching right now in my arms, that means your body is releasing junk in the system. It is getting garbage in and out of the body through the garbage disposal system known as the lymphatic system, which creates a histamine response. The histamine response therefore creates the itching sensation so that you realize that your body's eliminating the waste. So it is okay if your body itches. It is okay if it turns red. Those are just signs that your body has found something it doesn't like and it's trying to eliminate it. So usually if I start itching, once I get off the platform, the itching goes away within 15 minutes and I feel fresh and wonderful. So, but make sure that you hydrate a lot when you're doing that. Okay, well, for those of you that are struggling when you are doing the programming, there's something going on in the hip. So it might mean that you're due for a hip replacement. It might mean that you've got trigger points that are going off in that hip. There's something going on there that your body is needing a little bit more TLC with what's going on, that the vibration is not going to eliminate with the pain. So don't ignore pain by any means. I always tell people, if it hurts, don't do it. But soreness, achiness is adaptation a lot of times, or it's eliminating stuff that shouldn't be there. But if you're constantly feeling pain when you're using your vibration platform, you might want to see a hip specialist in orthopedics and see what's going on in the hip joint that is causing the pain, because the vibration platform should not hurt you, but it might tell you that there's something else going on there. So the vibration platform will not cause an injury by any means. There's not enough energy from these and in the residential models to cause harm, but it might tell you that there's something else going on beneath the surface that you need to be aware of before you go out in public and you hurt yourself. So it's a great preventative device as well. Okay, so we are going to go on to the next vibration platform, which is the Waver Mini. For those of you who like to work, and if you're one like me who loves to work, but you don't have to sit at a desk all day and you're mobile, you're moving the fluids through your body and life is great. If you sit at a desk all day, movement is medicine. So if you're not moving, your body is slowly starting to create tension, metabolism is dropping, toxicity is building up, we get depressed, we get hungry, we get bored, and we start to hurt. The more we sit, the more we hurt. The more we sit, the more we die. So sitting is the new smoking. So don't sit too much. If you have no choice but to sit, some of you are, I do work with a young man who is a paraplegic. We have him using a vibration platform all the time, every single day. He elevates his feet underneath of it in order to stimulate energy into his legs, which don't receive much energy because he's paralyzed. But his legs are actually coming to life, and he's able to do new things that doctors said that were never going to be possible. So Lifepro is creating great opportunities for him. You've seen him on our series in the past, but this is just the Waver Mini. And I like this. I promote this one for athletes who are on the go. If they are going to like a softball, baseball tournament over a weekend, track and field tournament for multiple days. I've got a professional race car driver and his team are using this in their garages when they're on the road. It stays in the rig, and then they plug it into the rig with all their power tools, so they're able to flush out from the long haul in the rig when they're riding from one race to another. But also for the race car drivers, if they're in an accident, this helps to soften the stress on their body by relaxing the muscles. So the first thing that happens when we get into an accident, we get injured, we feel threatened emotionally, mentally. Our body goes into a lockdown mode of fight or flight in order to protect our body and our mind. And so when we're in an accident, this is one of the great things you can do, just as simple as putting it with your feet on it, because 80% of the nerve fibers that provide your brain with information about how it needs to regulate and fix itself are on the skin on the bottom of the feet and only there. And we have 5 to 7 times more of those little nerve cells that are on the palms of our hands. So the palms of our hands and the bottom of our feet are very, very powerful when it comes to pain management. And just by being on the Waver Mini from a seated position, if you're typing away, it actually helps to enhance how our mind thinks. We're getting blood flow circulating into the extremity, so we're not going into a stagnation mode. There's just a lot of great things that can happen. So great to use during the workday, great to use at the end of the day before you're tucking into bed, great to use in between athletic events because it's very, very small, very lightweight. You can carry it in the back of your car from one place to another and actually run it off of the power of newer vehicles that have an outlet built in the vehicles. So great, great option. And it's quite cost effective. The Waver Mini is going to run $150 or less in most cases. And then tack on that Amber 10 coupon code and you're going to get it even cheaper. But you can go from a seated position, you can stand. A lot of people are wanting to do the treadmill underneath the desk. Yes, if you're on the phone all day and you're talking to people, they can hear your voice is shaking, so that doesn't work out very well. But working on a treadmill that's moving while you're at the desk is going to help the heart rate elevate, so you're going to be huffing and puffing anyways. But you can actually stand here, and I could actually type with the vibration platform underneath of me if I wanted to. Now, because my upper body gets very tight from working bent over a table a lot of times when I'm working with clients who are needing treatment, another way that I tend to dissipate that stress and offset that pain over time from doing too much of the same thing all the time is just enjoying this with my hands. So I might just get on my hands and knees and just let my shoulders shake out because we carry so much tension and stress in our shoulders. And over time, it catches up with us to where we get headaches and we have jaw pain and we start to develop nasty knots and we start to, have challenges in our palms and in our hands. We start to experience, numbness and tingling in our fingers. And just doing this right here will break some of those adhesions up so that you're able to get good blood flow, good electrical synapses and impulses from the brain to the extremities so that your body knows what it's supposed to do, when it's supposed to do it, and the signals are free and open as opposed to being restricted because of compression on those spaces. I know I'm talking very, very complex here, but oh, this feels good. Okay, I'm going to take a moment and just enjoy this. I'm going to turn this sideways so you can see how it makes a difference. Now, for me, I don't like feeling all of those dots, okay? So this is where my custom cut yoga mats come into place. And I just buy these at like a Marshall's, TJ Maxx, or Walmart, someplace cheap. I'll buy those mats and I'll cut them down to whatever size I want them to be. So this is a lot better. Now, this is very, very calming and relaxing. So my hands are facing forward right now. I also am going to turn my hands sideways because it changes the angle of vibration on the shoulder. So going sideways, feeling this all the way into my ribs, feeling it a little bit into my hips, feeling it into my neck and shoulders, but I'm not feeling it in my brain or in my head. It's not causing me any more problems by doing that. If you do experience more problems, you just take your head further away from the machine. So instead of being directly on top of it, you're going to sit back on those heels just a little bit and you still get the same type of stimulation. But right now I'm getting it more in my forearms, in my palms. Actually feels really, really good. And it's going up into my neck, but it's not causing me a tension problem. Now, here's the hard one. So we can go palms up, palms to the side. If we can get palms underneath, which our body is meant to do, a lot of people can't do this. We want to ease into that because it's really, really important. So I'll face you for this one so you can see how this works. But palms straight up and down, palms to the side. And then as you slowly creep your palms around so that we're getting it through the elbow and into our triceps where we all love those bat wings. I think that's what we tend to call those, extra fluff. And then slowly but surely turning those palms all the way so that they're pointing, your middle finger is pointing right at you. This is going to get really deep into your shoulders, really deep into your lats, really deep into your triceps. And I'm actually getting this into my lower forearms where we all tend to develop that tension from typing all day. Feels very good. And if you want more of a stretch in your forearms, you'll sit back towards your heels. If you want less of a stretch in the forearms, you're going to lean forward, which actually increases the intensity into your midsection, your mid back, and your belly. So you can shake free the brown fat that we all don't like to have around our midsection. Okay. So palms forward. And again, you can kind of sit back on those heels if you have to, or you can be directly over. We can slowly turn our hands like a clock until it turns all the way around, and then we can bring it all the way back around to the front. Now, this is gentle enough that it doesn't cause us a lot of extra stress. If you were to be on one of the Rumblex models and you were on a P2 mode, this is going to be too much. In fact, I don't enjoy doing P2 mode with the upper body because it's too intense. So this is what I love the Waver Mini for. If you are one who has the ability to have multiple platforms at home, the Waver Mini does a lot of great things without overdoing it. If you happen to have the Rumblex, which I'll show you here on the Pro, if you happen to have the Rumblex Pro or the Plus or the 4D, it doesn't make any difference. I'll show you how to modify your programming. Ooh, starting to itch. I'll show you how to modify your programming so that you can tolerate using upper body on the Rumblex, but the P2 mode is going to be too hard. You can do it, but it's very, very intense. Okay. The other thing that this is really good for at the end of the day is just letting your legs flop around. So if you have restless leg syndrome, don't have a lot of room, don't want a whole lot in your space, this is really, really good, especially if you're traveling in a vehicle from one place to another and you're not getting that circulation in your extremity, then you can take any platform for that matter. It doesn't matter which one, but the vibration platform, you can take it. You can put it and sit on the ground with your legs elevated and let them go flopsy, and it helps to mobilize lymph, helps to mobilize and recirculate blood flow, and get hydration down into the extremities. If you have plantar fasciitis or you have sore feet, you can work on stretching at the same time. So just reaching, if you might not be able to reach your toes, then you can pull your toes towards you and just work on what I call gas pedals. And in doing that while you are vibrating with the platform, you're able to work the motion of the muscle pump and get hydration back in there. It's like wringing out a dirty sponge. We take a dirty sponge, we wring it out, it fills back up with water. The sponge at the end of the day is still dirty. And the only way to get that sponge to clean out is to continually rehydrate and wring, rehydrate and wring. And that's essentially what we're doing with the vibration platform is we're rehydrating and wringing out all the gunk so that we have a clean sponge that's healthy and happy and is able to get us what we need. So yeah, so this feels really good. And if you don't want to sit up and you want to use this for some meditation for stress, we can lay back and just be in quiet space in our mind and just work on breathing, just deep breathing. And recollect your day. I like to call it the ultimate bedgasm. And an ultimate bedgasm is that euphoric sensation that you feel at the end of a very long day. And you go back and reflect upon your day and all the events that have happened as they've happened. And then you wonder how you made it through all of the amazing miracles that have happened in front of you and truly embracing the greatness that you've created throughout the day. Or you can lay in your bed and feel sorry for yourself about how crappy of a day you had and hope that tomorrow is going to be a better day, even though you're in control of all of it. So I like to tell people, you can either choose to be the bug on the windshield at the end of the day, or you can choose to be the windshield. The dead bug on the windshield is the victim, and the windshield is the survivor. So you have control of all of that. So knowing that this is National Stress Awareness Month, you want to be able to control how your thoughts process through in your mind. And so what I want you to remember is we think 60,000 to 70,000 thoughts a day, 60 to 70,000 thoughts a day. And for the average individual, for most average people, we, not me, they think 40,000 negative thoughts. That's really sad. But if we think about the news, we think about some of the music, we think about some of the movies, we think about the people we work with, we think about being in a medical field where you're constantly around people who are sick or need help. Um, 40,000 thoughts are negative, and 60 to 70,000 thoughts a day is what we process. And so your body actually stores those negative thoughts in the form of pain. So whatever pain you might have, there's something else going on, because the brain has the power through its thoughts to change the biochemical process in which our hormones release energy and how our body metabolizes itself. And we can actually create a problem that might not otherwise exist if we thought different. And there has been proven. I've been learning a lot about that. There's a great book called The Body Keeps the Score. And so for those of you who have been through trauma, whether you've been through emotional trauma, mental trauma, or physical trauma, if you don't have a way to dissipate those thoughts, those energies, it does settle into your body in a bad kind of way. So the vibration platforms are a great tool in order to help dissipate that bad energy. The waiver is great for all types of autoimmune diseases, chronic diseases, and problems, including muscular dystrophy. In fact, it will help keep the body from deteriorating. That's how we use the same technology with NASA to keep weight on astronauts in space where there's no gravitational energy, no resistance on the body. So for those who happen to have muscular dystrophy, it works very, very good at helping to create hypertrophy in the muscle without having to do stuff in a weight-bearing type. So it lowers the impact on the body, lowers the stress, while continuing to improve how the body would otherwise act if it were moving along on its own. So it's a great thing. Okay, moving on. So that's the Waiver Mini. It's my favorite little device, and that you can travel with it. And again, it doesn't weigh a whole lot. You can tuck it underneath of the arm. So there's one arm. We can walk high knees, right? We can skip. Okay, I wouldn't be able to do this with the Rumble X because it's just too big. But little guy goes a long way, and so it is my favorite for those kind of things where you're confined with space and you're traveling. Okay, let's move on to my other favorite. We've got the Rumble X Pro, and again, I love the Rumble X Plus, but I didn't want to feature something that was not available to all of you on our site. So Rumble X Plus is the one I recommend to all my clients with total knees, total hips, fused ankles. But the Rumble X Pro is still one of my absolute favorite devices. And I love the Rumble X Pro because it still provides the 3 motors, 4 dimensions of stimulation, and we can go really wide. We can go really, really wide with this one. So that's what I really like. If I have individuals who want the curve and they want the access on the outer thighs, they're trying to eliminate the junk in the trunk, and they want to experience the curve, the Pro is the way to go. The Pro is also more gentle, in my opinion, than the Plus and the 4D in how it operates. I'm going to sit here and enjoy this with all of you for a moment because it just feels great. And I'm sure you want to see this a little bit closer so you can see how it's fluffing the junk in the trunk and seeing how it actually works on a deepened level. So let me accommodate you here so that you can see a little up close in person how my body actually adjusts on this. Trying to make sure I don't chop my head off. Yeah, so you can actually see how everything is really shaken about. You can really see it when I don't have my tights on and I have shorts on, but today you get the tights. So I will be happy to show you all of my cellulite that I'm proud of wearing shorts where you can really see the loose skin from weight loss and from aging. But at the end of the day, we have to be proud of who we are, not what we have on the outside, but what we have on the inside. That's part of stress management. And if we can't be happy with what we have, the fact that we actually get to be here, then why is it worth even trying some days, right? So when I'm on here, though, I like to move. I don't like to stay in the same spot. There's no rhyme or reason as to how I do one thing versus another because our body is meant to move. So it is meant to move. Some days I'll get up here and do a little hula hoop dance, get on some good music because music makes us happy. It makes us laugh. Doesn't matter what kind of music, as long as you are okay with the language, If you resonate with 60s rock or you resonate with meditational music, but just working little dance time, listening to some music, and having fun. There's so many workouts that I've done that are fat blasting workouts on social media. You can find all those. I'm not going to go into all those today. I just want you to be able to see how each one of these platforms is a little different. Now, I mentioned earlier that if you're wanting to work upper body, that the Rumble X series is a little more complex in as far as energy goes for upper body, unless you're in manual mode. So this is the P2 mode, and I'll show you when it comes to upper body, how much my body absorbs this. It happens quite a bit. So here's just a regular plank, and I'm on level 60 right now, which is really high. My booty is shaking just as much as my shoulders. So if you feel too much energy there, just lower your legs and just stay from the benefit of the knees. The closer you bring your hands to the center, the less intense things are on your upper body. So as I showed you earlier, you can do stuff with your hands. Right now I'm feeling this pretty heavy in my ribs. So if I sit back a little bit, it's not as intense in my ribs. If I sit more forward, it really intensifies. If I go hands out to the side, can do a lot there. But I love this unit because I love the surface that it provides. The mat on here is really nice. It comes with a lot of bells and whistles, a lot of resistance bands, a lot of extra attachments. It has a very wide base of support. So for instance, if I'm trying to do a deep stretch, I can drop down and actually get into the stretch. I'm on a super high level right now, but because I can bring my hands to the center, my upper body's not feeling it, and my hip is feeling it instead. And that feels really, really good. I can drop my knee to the ground. It's still not too high for me personally to get up. It might be high for some of you. So you might have to put yourself on an elevated surface where your knee is. If you're wanting to get up this high, you can just put a block up. I've got the balance trainer here, the Horizon. So we can put the Horizon down, put our knee up on it, and we can just stabilize like this. So balance is really, really important. I can still drop down here. Now I'm actually feeling this more here in my back and in my hip as to where I was before, because I have elevated the back knee just a little bit higher. Now, if you happen to have something next to you that you can hold on to so you can really enjoy this, we can drop into a hip flexor stretch or into a muscle stretch that affects how our low back feels. I can just lean my chest on here and enjoy this and get a really nice deep stretch in my back, in my hips, in my leg, through my feet. There's just a lot of different ways that we can do this. Another really good stretch is here, coming up on here to the top and just dropping down. So I'm getting a good groin stretch here, getting some vibration on this side. I can turn my foot to the outside, get an even bigger stretch here. There's so many different ways that we can do this, but again, that's a whole nother video that I've done in the past. You can go back and watch that and see how it works. I talked to you about elevating your butt so you can elevate your legs, so that if you can't get down on the floor, you can put this on an ottoman. If you know where your couch is, if you have an ottoman, you can put it on top of an ottoman and elevate your legs like that and be at the same height. I don't recommend putting it on the leg rest of a recliner. It won't maintain, it won't hold very well. It needs to be on something solid surface. But I can position my hands here, and I'm getting my legs, I'm getting my shoulders, getting my neck, and enjoying the vibration along the way. Now, in reversing this, we can take the Horizon and turn the platform to a different angle and sit on the Rumble X with our legs elevated instead. So it can go in a variety of different ways, but if you don't want to be at a lower level than what your feet are, or if you don't want your feet to be down and your rear up high, you want to be at the same level, the Horizon balance trainer really is close to the same level if you're wanting to get into a deepened stretch while you're sitting on your Rumblex or whatever platform you might have. And you can enjoy it that way. Again, going knees on same level, so you're able to get more into the back, into the neck and shoulders. There's just a lot of different ways you can do it. That's a whole nother class. All right. Let's see here. What are we thinking? Yes, the relaxing vibe is a really good one. I have it on the other side of the room. The waiver's awesome. Okay, we're moving on. Now, I'm going to get into some of my other favorite gadgets when it comes to relaxing at the end of a day. I've got my chair over here for that. This is just a regular wide, extra capacity lawn chair that we keep here for when we bring in our air compression massage boots, the Axis and the Axis Pro. I don't have them out here today because I didn't want to overwhelm you. Whew. Heart rate is elevated just by sitting and standing. It really is that simple. Now, what you can do, I'm going to show you a couple of different ways you can do this where we're doing things together. And I'll bring this a little up close in person. And yes, this does recline back. Okay, so we got the hand massager here. I can be enjoying the hand massager while I am using the vibration, the massage gun. So this is my favorite massage gun of all time. It is one of the first that Joel released years ago, and it's the Sonic LX. This one, like I said, this is my original model. And so with that, we have these that have 9 to 10 different levels, depending on which model. They're all the same, but for the most part, they all have a lot of the same attachments. Depending on how new the model is, you're getting extra attachments and extra little bells and whistles. So some of them are now heated, which is pretty awesome. But I love the way that this one came out when it first came out because it was one of his first that happened to have rubber attachment tips. But the Sonic LX is one of my favorites. And you want to make sure that when you're using it, you're just floating. You're just floating along. We're going to be done here momentarily because I don't want to take too much of your afternoon, and we've been going live for a while. But remember when you're using your massage gun, we don't want to push. We don't want to push. We don't have to. We just want to let it float. Okay, so if you've got carpal tunnel, you've got a frozen shoulder. If you have a frozen shoulder, make sure and get here along the chest line because when we have an injury, we draw inward. And if we draw inward, it's really hard to open back up. So make sure that you're opening up here on the front with the massage gun because it's breaking up those sticky honey adhesions, I like to call them, those little knots. And this is where we carry a lot of it, which forces our head forward. So if we have pain in our neck, make sure that you're working here on the front of your chest first, or the neck won't release. So that is the Sonic LX. I wanted to bring that up to you. It's one of our oldest models. It's one of our newer, they're coming out with some new attachments for that, including, like I said, the heated tip. I'm going to kind of end here with a combination of different things and how I might utilize these things at home. The BioHeal is red light therapy. If you don't have an infrared sauna or a sauna blanket and you just want something small, this works really well, lights up really, really bright. This one is going to require some eye protection, which comes with the product. And then once you register the product, they'll send you an extra set of glasses. But this has got infrared as well as red light therapy, and it's near infrared. But as you can see, the lights are shining bright. So you want to make sure when you're facing it directly towards your face or towards an area of your body that's broken down, more inflamed, that you have your eye protection on, because you're not meant to look at these products, the red light or the infrared light therapy, directly through the eyes, and your eyes cannot see infrared light. It's naked to the human eye. When you're in the sauna, you don't need eye protection because we're using wavelength panels as opposed to direct light through a bulb, through an LED bulb. But this is the BioHeal, and as you can see, it's very bright. I have the ability to turn off the red light and just do the infrared. So these are all infrared right here. And then these are all red. So I just clicked off. Now we're infrared. Now we're just red. Now we're both. So you can do all of those different features in order to get the best out of your red light, infrared light therapy. If you're interested in that, there's more information on our website about the different ways that you can use it. And I've covered a lot of different ways in which you can use that. Yes, the light, whoops, the eye protection comes with. So these are the light therapy torches, the Lumicare. Okay, and they as well come with eye protection involved in the little case. So we have the original, you just click it on, you're getting 3 little bulbs. And again, you don't really want to look directly into them, so I'm looking here to the side. And then if we push again, we also have just infrared, okay? So you can have all light, or you can have infrared, or click off. We have 2 rechargeable batteries that comes with this. You just plug the charger into the wall, let the battery charge, and then you've always got one that is available. So, and I can tell you, I have used these on so many people, post-surgery, trauma, bruises, used it on a joint. So if you have elbow pain, if you've got knee pain, you can use it straight directly on the skin, on the joint. If you have bacterial infection, it works great for bacterial challenges. They also make one of these that you can use inside of your mouth. I've been dealing with mouth sores as a side effect of a prescription medication. And so it has helped to ease the intensity of my gums and the sores that are filling into my gums until I figured out it was a side effect so that I could get off of it. But until then, it helped to take the edge off my pain in my mouth as I was developing these sores. And then I've got one, this is the Lumicare Pro, okay? This one has a lot of extra bells and whistles. So the Lumicare Pro is black, the original Lumicare is silver. This one has red light, has infrared light, it has blue light. So when you've got the blue light and the red light on, the light is purple, as you can see, okay? We also, so there's your red light. We also have, there's the infrared light. We also have blue light, which is for bacteria. So if you have like edema, or you have pitting scars, or you have open sores from acne, you can actually not position directly on the skin, but you can flash the blue light on your face, and it helps to take the bacteria out of acne type reactions. And then we have the flashing. So if you are one who has seizures or epileptic behavior and that responds in the brain, do not use the flashers, because the flashers will trigger a possible seizure effect. But the reason why we are flashing infrared with red light with blue light is because it's trying to get the attention of the different cells in the body. And there is research that is proving that red light, infrared, and blue light in a flashing response actually catches the attention of cells and helps them gravitate towards that space in order for them to fix themselves. So it's really cool how that works. And again, the medical research behind it and the evidence behind everything that works the way it does is constantly growing in the medical community in which I serve. And we use all these products on my clients and patients on a day-to-day basis with great success and great feedback. Now, the sauna behind me, the Rejuvicure sauna, we sold out of those originally. They're back in stock. $19.99 is the price today. But again, if you use that Amber 10 discount code, it'll knock some extra chunk of change on it, okay? So the infrared sauna behind me is, it is great. So I got fibromyalgia. My inflammatory levels are a little higher right now, so I'm getting the mouth sores. That's why I'm having some gut challenges. I'm learning for the first time in a long time that I'm very sensitive to wild orange tea. I've been drinking a lot of tea in the form of red orange from my K-cups, and it develops bladder challenges because if you have inflammation, then you tend to draw inflammation into the bladder region. So presents as a urinary tract infection, not fun. So what is a way to reduce all inflammation in the body all at once? The infrared sauna. So that's why I have one in my house, and that's why we have one here. So the sauna is a one way to fix it all, like everything in one. If you have to choose one thing over another, anti-aging using the sauna or anti-aging using the whole body vibration platforms are my two favorite. Those are my top two choices. Like I said, I've had the sauna for several years, and the vibration platform I've had for a little over 5 years, in which it has helped my recovery from pelvic adhesions developing. It keeps me calm, it keeps my mind happy. And for National Stress Awareness Month, what we think and how we recover is how our body is able to age forwards without getting older and breaking down as much. Now, for my last two things I want to share with you here today before I let you all go, so I can go celebrate my birthday with my 12-year-old daughter. I'm going to take her to do some shopping, to buying some fabric so that she can put together a project for Greek mythology in school. Truly, he or she who has good health and has no pain has 1,000 dreams, and he or she who doesn't only has one, and it's to be able to have their health back so they can have time. And there are two things that money cannot buy you. Money cannot buy you health, that you're going to live a whole nother year or another week or another day, and it cannot buy you back time that you've lost. So use your time sparingly and make sure that you're doing everything you can to invest in yourself so that you can live your best life forward, okay? So this goes on and then you turn it on, okay? The little switch is right here. And then again with the Legra massage, you stick your hand in to where your fingertips come out. There's a little elevation in there that you can relax your palm on there, and it will go through the different modes and massage your hand so that you can relax. And for me, I use a lot of my hands in order to heal and take pain away for all my clients. And so to help build up the intensity, the strength in my hands, and to help dissipate tension that shouldn't be there, and to eliminate bad energy that I might absorb throughout the day. The vibration platform helps me in doing that, as does regular maintenance with my soft tissues through deep tissue massage using our different devices. So massage gun, hand massager. We have had several foot and leg massagers, and I have those at my home that we use on a regular basis as well. So when it comes to using the ocular therapy, yes, you should be able to use that after you've had cataract surgery, because it's not putting pressure on the eye socket, it's working on the perimeter. So it's working on your frontalis muscle. It's working here in your, over here in the temple space here, right above the jawline. And when we carry tension in our jaw, it automatically carries tension in our neck, which ignites the low back to tighten up, which will cause the low back pain. So we're going to put this on to enjoy some calming. And I've got artificial eyelashes. So the last thing we want is to smash our eyelashes. So I'm truly relaxing using the eyelashes, and hands are going into, what I like about these devices is you can feel where the units are recessed or elevated so that you can turn the units on and you can feel everything coming to life. So for those of you who are watching and are familiar that today is the day after my 45th birthday, I'm going to sit back here and chillax a little bit and start dreaming about what I'm going to conquer in 2023 as we grow younger, as the age continues to increase. The way that I'm able to impact the world and the way that my body feels will decrease with all these wonderful little biohacks. So I want to say thank you all for watching, and I look forward to seeing you next Friday for our next great topic of interest. And if you should have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out to us. So thank you all for watching, and you guys have a wonderful weekend.